Welcome to the Jedi Ranger. I'm JohnBurry555, and today I'm continuing my series of MASH retro reviews with Season 4, Episode 18, The Tag. So, before we actually get into the episode, let's actually address the title because I always thought this episode's title was The Tag. I don't know why, but it kind of is, but kind of isn't. Let me explain. So, if you know any German, Der is one of the German words for the. German has slightly different grammar structures than English in terms of articles because they have masculine, feminine, and neuter articles, so that's just something to be aware of. They have grammatical gender, English doesn't. But der Tag is German for the day. But also, tag, there's a toe tag involved in this episode, so it kind of almost means multiple different things the way you look at it. And honestly, they probably just probably the day part they didn't even think about. They just you know what, let's not say the tag. Nah, der tag. Yeah, let's use a German word for the, and just happen to translate into a whole German phrase for the day. That's what I'm guessing happened behind the scenes. I don't know for sure. But let's actually talk about the episode. So, this is episode where Frank is a pretty major character. Margaret's off in Tokyo on a nursing conference, and Frank is getting on everyone's nerves. So, Colonel Potter orders BJ and Hawkeye to make friends with Frank, or at least pretend to. They do. Frank somehow gets extremely lucky at poker, then passes out in the officers club, accidentally hits a jackpot during his passing out. Hawkeye and BJ bring Frank back to the swamp, and there they put a toe tag on him in their drunkenness that reads emotionally exhausted and morally bankrupt. And honestly, doesn't that describe Frank to a T no matter what? And now Frank gets up at one point to go to the train, accidentally falls into an ambulance, and ends up at the battalion aid station. And when the battalion aid station calls the 477 to let them know that Frank showed up randomly, because, they have the force, which is good because the 477 had no idea where Frank was. And Hawkeye and BJ did not remember putting the toe tag until it was mentioned to them. Again, they were drunk when they did it. So, because the battalion aid station can't send anyone to deliver Frank back to MASH, Hawkeye and BJ have to go retrieve him. I understand for the point of the episode why, but in the actual army, I'm pretty sure they would just send some enlisted to do it. Two of the 4 surgeons that we actually see in the 477. There had to be more surgeons. They had to have been. Oh well, it's a TV show after all. So they go there. They do help the battalion aid station. There's a bit with an influx of wounded because they're doctors, of course they are. Then they bring Frank back, put Frank back in his bed. Frank wakes up like nothing happened. He literally did not remember anything that happened after he got drunk, except for them being friends with him and them being his friend. Margaret gets back and the episode ends. That's effectively the episode. And in all honesty, I think this episode they just wanted to almost do a twist on the Frank's character, because while in the past I think there have been episodes before where they are friendly to Frank, that's normally to get something out of Frank. Not necessarily because, actually trying to, make being around him a little easier. That's probably the best way of describing the motivations of the characters involved in this episode. But this is Frank, so yeah, people get angry and frustrated with him pretty easily. And even in him being drunk, it makes him even more unbearable to be around with. Unless you're drunk, I guess. Unless. So, like I said, it's overall a pretty fun episode. There's nothing major going on, but it definitely shows a few other things, because while Margaret is away on the nursing conference in Tokyo, the medical conference, she's hanging out with the nurses and a guy named Frank. No, Fred. Yeah, I think, regardless of whatever that guy's name was. And Frank is jealous. Of course he is jealous. But you can also see the groundwork that's almost being laid in the character for what we know is coming when Margaret gets engaged next time she goes, well, in a future time when she goes to Tokyo, and then Frank's reaction. Not quite the same, but you can kind of see the groundwork being laid. Did they have that in mind when they made this episode? Who knows? Or did they like how they use this dynamic and decide to kind of be inspired by it in the future? Possibly. Can't know for sure. But it's something I definitely picked up on. And given MASH is not known for its continuity, it's safe to say it probably wasn't intentional, at least when this episode was written. But it's still a fun parallel, and it definitely shows that even though they didn't care too much about continuity, they were still writing the characters in a sense of at least their characterizations were internally consistent, and as you put them in similar situations, you would get similar results based off of that. I hope I explained my thoughts okay. But that's what I got to say. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching my video. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to give this video a like and share. Also, consider subscribing to my channel to stay up to date on all my latest content. In the meantime, thank you for watching, and as always, have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. May the force be with you always.